Hello everyone, I'm Angela.
Hey, this is Richie, and this is the Fan of Football 813 YouTube channel. We are doing our Week 5 college football picks for the next week. Before we move on to that, we'll do our tallies for last week. I actually got 44 right. She got 34 right. She got a bunch over me. There were a whole lot of upsets. Heartbreaking losses, and thrilling victories and everything. So this is one of the reasons why I love college football for last weekend. But this is for next weekend. So we're going to jump right into our picks. The first game is the Thursday night game between the North Carolina Tar Heels and the Miami Hurricanes. North Carolina actually showed some stuff. They beat Pittsburgh last week. They look better than they have all year in offense. Miami has looked okay. Is maybe closer than people would have thought going in, but I still think Miami should win. They have more talent overall and a better defense.
Miami?
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Miami.
Yeah, so the Hurricanes, I think, will win that. All right, going into the Friday games, the Memphis Tigers and the Tulane Green Wave. Memphis has just been great on offense. They have one of the best running backs in the country, Darrell Henderson. Tulane, they have the potential to keep this close, but I'm going to go with Memphis to win this one. I think Memphis has it.
It's close?
Yeah.
Not really?
It could be, but I doubt it.
So if Tulane wins, is it an upset?
Small one, but...
I'm going to go for Tulane.
The next Friday games, UCLA Bruins taking on the Colorado Buffaloes. Colorado's looked really good. UCLA's looked really bad under Chip Kelly, which is surprising. Their offense hasn't done anything, which is what he's known for. I'm going to pick Colorado.
All right, I'll do Colorado.
All right, going to the Saturday games, the Tennessee Volunteers take on the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia beat Missouri last week. I don't think Georgia will go undefeated. I don't think Georgia will even make the playoffs, but Tennessee is really, really bad. There's a reason why their new head coach, Jeremy Pruitt, was their 8th choice coming into the season.
Tennessee's?
Yeah. Tennessee went through this debacle of a coaching search going into the season that they were the laughingstock of college football. They interviewed like 6 or 7 different coaches that pretty much all declined them, other than Greg Schiano, who he was initially hired, and then Tennessee fans didn't want him there for multiple reasons. One, he's a bad coach, but but also partially he was associated with the Penn State pedophilia allegations a few years ago. But anyway, Tennessee, their coaches, they're not good at all. So Bulldogs should win big.
All right, I guess I'll go for Georgia as well.
All right, the BYU Cougars taking on the Washington Huskies. Both are ranked. BYU has a good defense, but I don't think that's enough to give them the upset in this. So I think Washington Huskies will end up with a victory.
If BYU wins, it's upset.
If BYU wins, it will be, yeah.
I'm going for BYU.
The Oregon Ducks against the California Golden Bears. Oregon's coming off a heartbreaking loss. They had a big lead on Stanford. They had the game put away, which I'll break all this down in my review later, but Stanford ended up coming back to beat them in overtime. I think Oregon will come out. I think they'll be angry. I think they'll be upset. Cal has a pretty good defense, but I think Oregon will win.
I'll pick Oregon.
All right, the Central Michigan Chippewas taking on the Michigan State Spartans. Central Michigan hasn't looked very good. They won last week, to a 1AA team. Michigan State, they should win pretty easily.
Michigan State?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go for Michigan State.
Oregon State Beavers and Arizona State Sun Devils. Oregon State Beavers, they lost last week to the Arizona Wildcats. Their offense has potential, but I think Arizona State's the better overall team, so I think Arizona State wins.
All right, I'll go for Arizona State.
All right, Utah Utes and the Washington State Cougars. This is interesting. Washington State very nearly upset USC last weekend. The quarterback for Washington State, Gardner Minshew, who I've been touting out, he went off on USC statistically, well over 300 plus yards, 303 300 plus yards passing, 3 touchdowns. They only lost 39-36. And Utah usually has a really good defense. Their offense it's okay. They have a good running game. They can pass it. It should be an even game. Utah, as I've called them, they're Sack Lake City. They get it on the quarterback, and Washington State, all they do is pass. I'm gonna go with Washington State though in this. I think Gardner Minshew's way too good. If they can get their offense going, I don't think Utah can keep up.
Okay, I will go for Washington State.
All right, so the Indiana Hoosiers and Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Rutgers got blown out by Buffaloes last weekend. Indiana, they were back and forth with Michigan State. They ended up losing, but Indiana's a pretty good team, I think, and I'm going to go with Indiana to win.
I'll keep with Rutgers, as I have been.
All right, the Purdue Boilermakers and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Purdue, they started 0-3, then they beat a ranked Boston College last weekend. Nebraska starting 0-3, and they've looked really bad so far. They played good teams, but they haven't looked very good. I'm gonna go with Purdue to win this.
Neither one of these are ranked?
Right, another one.
Okay, I will go with Purdue as well.
Alright, the Louisiana Raging Cajuns and the Alabama Crimson Tide is tied all the way.
I'll go for Alabama as well.
Alright, the Syracuse Orange take on the Clemson Tigers. This is interesting. Syracuse upset Clemson last year. So Clemson, they'll have that in the back of their mind. Clemson, they have a true freshman quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, which he'll probably take over. He looked good coming in against Georgia Tech in their win. But Syracuse, their offense has looked great so far this season. It's one of those games, defense, offense. Syracuse could come out with an upset. Clemson is on, in my opinion, high upset alert. That being said, I'm still going to go with Clemson. I think their defense should be strong enough to hold down Syracuse.
And I will be going with Syracuse for the upset.
All right, West Virginia Mountaineers and Texas Tech Red Raiders. This is one of my games I want to watch. Both teams passing around. Will Grier, who's a Heisman candidate for West Virginia, he had 5 touchdown passes last week. Texas Tech, they have a true freshman quarterback, Alan Bowman, who they killed Oklahoma State this last weekend. He threw for 397 and 2 touchdowns. This is the kind of game that both quarterbacks could have 5 or 6 touchdown passes each and be like 35 at halftime, That being said, this is hard for me to choose. If Texas Tech wins, it'll be an upset.
Texas Tech will be an upset?
If they win.
Well,
Even though they're actually 3-1, so it's actually kind of even, but I don't know who to go.
Well, I'm going to go for the upset, Texas Tech.
Yeah. I'm going to go with West Virginia only because of the experience of Will Grier, the quarterback for Texas Tech. He's a freshman. He's played beyond his years as a freshman, but in these kind of games, you don't... And although, to be fair, they did upset Oklahoma State last weekend, and they beat them 41-17. So he's shown some poise as a young guy. I'm going to give this slight edge to Will Grier in West Virginia, so I'm going to go with West Virginia to win. All right, the next game, Oklahoma State Cowboys and the Kansas Jayhawks. Oklahoma State, I think they'll bounce back. Kansas has shown to be competitive this year, more so than they have in the last few years, but I'm going to go with Oklahoma State to win.
I'll go for Kansas.
All right, the Arkansas Razorbacks against the Texas A&M Aggies. Arkansas does not look good at all. Texas A&M, I think, should win. They gave Alabama a decent fight for the first half last week before being blown out, but Arkansas hasn't given anybody a fight.
Well, I'll go for Texas A&M.
All right, the Temple Owls and Boston College Eagles. This should be, they're both kind of very similar. They like to run, they play defense. The Boston College head coach, Steve Adazio, used to be the head coach at Temple a few years ago. I'm going to go with Boston College, though. They have one of the best running backs in the country in A.J. Dillon. Their quarterback, Anthony Brown, last week he threw 4 interceptions, which is no good, but I think he'll clean that up. He's proven to be better overall at quarterback than what Temple has. Although Temple does have a running back, Raquel Armstead. He's run over 100 yards in the last 3 games. But, yeah, I think Boston College.
I'll go for Temple, just to have some competition.
All right, Army, West Point, Black Knights, and the Buffalo Bulls. This is another one. Army very nearly upset Oklahoma last week. They went into Oklahoma. They took them to overtime. They only lost 28-21. Their triple option offense, Oklahoma couldn't really stop it. Army had a chance late in the game where they threw an interception that they could have maybe led them to a game-winning field goal at some point. Buffalo's been kind of a surprise in the MAC. They're 4-0. They killed Rutgers from the Big Ten last week. I'm going to go with Army with this. I think Army wins this, but this could be a pretty good game back and forth.
I'm going to go for Army as well.
All right, the Bowling Green Falcons and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Bowling Green, their offense has looked better, but their defense hasn't been good. Georgia Tech, they can run it generally all over the place with their triple option team. I'm going to go with Georgia Tech.
I will go for Georgia Tech as well.
All right, Virginia Cavaliers and NC State Wolfpack. This could be a pretty good game. Both quarterbacks are playing well. Ryan Finley for NC State. I'm going to go with NC State to edge them out in this one, though.
So it'll be a close game.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, I'll go with Virginia. Give some competition.
All right, next game is the UMass Minutemen against Ohio Bobcats. Ohio had a huge lead on Cincinnati and then gave it up and lost. UMass, they beat Charlotte last weekend. Their offense actually looked good. UMass's offense can look good sometimes. This could be a pretty close game. I think Ohio might be mad about the way they lit off last weekend. I think Ohio comes back and they should win this one.
Ohio?
Yeah.
All right, and I'm going to go for UMass.
The next game, the Louisiana Monroe Warhawks and the Georgia State Panthers. This is kind of an even game. I'm going to go, I think Louisiana Monroe has shown a little more effectiveness on their offense, so I'm going to go with the Warhawks.
And I will go for UL Monroe as well.
The next game is the Kent State Golden Flashes and the Ball State Cardinals. Kent State, so they gave Ole Miss, all they can handle for the half. Ball State, they're kind of in and out. They look good. They almost beat Notre Dame a few weeks ago, and then they lost to Western Kentucky last week, who hasn't looked very good. So I'm gonna go with Kent State in this one.
And I will go for Kent State as well.
Alright, then the next game will be the Baylor Bears and the Oklahoma Sooners. Baylor's look better than they have last year, but I can't see them really staying with Oklahoma in this, so I think Oklahoma wins.
What are the jersey colors?
Baylor's green and gold, and Oklahoma's like a red.
Alright, I'm going for Baylor.
I don't know if any Sooner fans are watching, they're going to correct me. It's not red, it's crimson, or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. It's red. Alright, the Pitt Panthers and the UCF Knights. This is a tricky game. Pitt, they lost to North Carolina last week, but they beat Georgia Tech the week before. They kind of go in and out. UCF, they've still looked good on offense. Their defense is very suspect. They're kind of giving up too many big plays. They're not tackling very well, but they're kind of being overshadowed by their offense, which is still one of the best in the country. UCF does force turnovers. I'm going to go with the UCF to win this one, but UCF shouldn't take Pitt lightly.
I'm going to go for UCF as well.
Alright, the Cincinnati Bearcats and the UConn Huskies. Cincinnati is one of the surprise teams of the year. They're 4-0. They had a big comeback win against Ohio last week. UConn has a pretty good quarterback in David Pindle, which I keep saying, but then they keep losing. So I'm just going to go with Cincinnati. I'm just going to go.
They keep losing? Is he really that good?
He's pretty much all they have.
Oh.
So
So if UConn wins...
I mean, it would be an upset. Cincinnati's not ranked, but they're better this year than. I mean, Cincinnati won 4 games last year, and they're already 4-0. So.
All right, I'll go for UConn. Maybe.
All right, Old Dominion Monarchs and the ECU Pirates. Old Dominion came up with a huge upset last weekend. They were 0-3. They beat ranked Virginia Tech. They did whatever they wanted. Virginia Tech, they have a defensive coordinator. Bud Foster has been there for 25 years. He's one of the best in the business. Their defenses are routinely, tops in the country.
Who's this?
Bud Foster for Virginia Tech. Routinely, they're one of the top 10 in the country, and Old Dominion put up 632 yards on him, which is the most they've ever given up under him. They upset him. ECU nearly beat USF last week. They killed North Carolina a few weeks ago, but then they lost to a 1AA team in the beginning. They've been up and down. This is actually kind of a tough game for me to call because Old Dominion, they were 0-3, but then they came out and beat one of the top teams in the country. I actually think Old Dominion falls back, so I'm going to go with East Carolina to win.
And I'm going to go for Old Dominion.
Sorry, Corey. My friend, he wanted me to shout him out. He's from Virginia. He's from near where Old Dominion is. And I'll probably shout him out later in the review, but I don't think it lasts. My bad. All right, Western Michigan Broncos and the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. Miami of Ohio, they won last week. Western Michigan won last week. I'm gonna go with Western Michigan though. I think they have the better overall team. Although this could be a pretty good game. It's a good MAC game.
I guess I'll go for Miami of Ohio.
Next game is Coastal Carolina Chanticleers and the Troy Trojans. Troy, they've looked pretty good. They beat Nebraska a couple weeks ago. They won last weekend. Coastal Carolina is turning it around. Their coach, Joe Mowgli, is back this year after sitting out last year as the head coach. Coastal Carolina is 3-1, I think. If I'm not mistaken, both teams have winning records right now. This could be a pretty good game. I'll give the edge to Troy. It's in Troy. They have a little more experience, but Coastal Carolina could come out with that.
I'm going to go for Coastal Carolina.
All right, South Alabama Jaguars and Appalachian State Mountaineers. Appalachians they dropped 72 points yesterday. Appalachian State looks to maybe be the best team in the Sun Belt, so I'm gonna go with them.
Appalachian?
Yeah.
All right, I will go for Appalachian State as well.
Rice Owls and Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Rice is okay. Wake Forest, although they lost to Notre Dame, they looked pretty decent this year offensively overall. So I'm gonna go with Wake Forest.
I'm going to go for Wake Forest as well.
Texas Longhorns and the Kansas State Wildcats. Texas, they had an upset. They beat TCU last weekend. Texas is hard to tell. A few weeks ago I said when they defeated USC that both teams still are kind of mediocre. Texas, I don't know if they're still mediocre or not. Maybe. Kansas State hasn't looked very good this year. But that being said, Kansas State, as I've said before, their coach Bill Snyder, they always come out and win a game they shouldn't win. And this could be it, but I'm going to go with Texas. Kansas State hasn't really shown a whole lot so far.
All right, I'm going to go for Texas as well.
Florida State Seminoles and Louisville Cardinals. So both teams have not looked very good this year. Florida State and Louisville. I'm going to give the edge to Florida State, if only because they look slightly better than Louisville. They have a little bit more going than Louisville. As much as I've said Florida State, their quarterback isn't great. He's better than what Louisville has right now. And the running backs at Florida State is better than what Louisville has right now. So I think Florida State comes out with this one.
I'll go for FSU.
Southern Miss, Golden Eagles, and Auburn Tigers. This probably won't be close. If Southern Miss wins, it will be an upset. Southern Miss has a pretty good passing game, but Auburn has better talent overall, so I'm going to go with Auburn.
And I am going for Southern Miss.
All right, Tennessee State, 1AA. They're taking on Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt should win this.
All right, I'll go for Vanderbilt too.
Nevada Wolfpack and Air Force Falcons. This will be even. Nevada has a good offense. Air Force normally has a good triple option team. This kind of could go back and forth. I'm going to go with Nevada in this one. This could be a bit of a shootout, though.
I'm going to go for Air Force.
Michigan taking on Northwestern. Michigan's looked really good lately. Northwestern, they're coming off of a bye. I'm going to go with Michigan in this one.
All right, I'll go for Northwestern.
All right, Florida Gators at the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Florida's coming off a huge victory. Mississippi State was upset last week by Kentucky. Mississippi State, they have a really good quarterback in Nick Fitzgerald. The Gators' defense has played well all season so far. This will be kind of even. If the Gators win, it'll actually be an upset if they win. Because Mississippi State, as of now, they're ranked. I don't know if they'll be ranked later in the day.
Mississippi State's ranked?
They were, but they got killed last week by an unranked team. That being said, I'm going to go with the Gators.
I'm going to go with the Gators as well.
All right, next game, Liberty Flame and New Mexico Lobos. Liberty, they have a potential on offense. New Mexico has actually looked pretty good this year offensively. I'm going to go with New Mexico in this one.
I am going to go for New Mexico as well.
Arkansas State, Red Wolves, and the Georgia Southern Eagles. Arkansas State's one of the better teams in the Sun Belt. Georgia Southern has the potential. They have a triple option team, which gives everybody fits, but I'm still going to go with Arkansas State to win.
I will go for Arkansas State.
All right, Northern Illinois Huskies and Eastern Michigan Eagles. Eastern Michigan very nearly beat San Diego State last weekend. Northern Illinois is coming off of a loss to FSU. This will be even Eastern Michigan. And by the way, it is Eastern Michigan. I'm only saying that because watching the game, the commentator kept calling them Eastern Washington. Learn your job, guy. But,
Soapbox.
yeah. But Eastern Michigan, oh man, this is pretty even. Eastern Michigan looks pretty good this year.
Is it like flip a coin?
Yeah. I really want to go with Eastern Michigan, but
So whatever you choose, I'm going to choose the opposite.
yeah.
Keep the competition.
The experience tells me to go with Northern Illinois. So
And the inexperience says go to Eastern Michigan.
which might be winners. Alright, the Virginia Tech Hokies take on the Duke Blue Devils. Virginia Tech is coming off a huge loss, being upset. Duke is coming off a pretty big win against a 1AA team. Score-wise, they put up 55 points. This is a game Duke very well could win, but I think Virginia Tech will be too angry. I think Virginia Tech comes, although their quarterback is hurt at Virginia Tech, but I still think Virginia Tech wins.
And I'm going to go for Duke.
Alright, Iowa State Cyclones and the TCU Horned Frogs. Iowa State, they beat a MAC team last week, Akron 26-13. It was a very close game. TCU's coming off being upset by Texas. I think TCU, though, has the better team overall, so I'm going to go with TCU.
And I'm going to go for Iowa State.
Houston Baptist and the Southern Methodist Mustangs. Methodist is coming off of a nice victory against Navy in overtime. Very gutsy win. They went for 2 points in overtime to win, 31-30. So it's the battle of the religions. SMU, I think, will win.
I guess I'll go for Baptist just to
Alright,
have a battle.
UTEP Miners and the UTSA Roadrunners. UTEP, they're coming in still having not won a game in, 16 games in a row they've lost. UTSA, they're okay. UTEP showed a little bit of fight last week, but I'm going to go with UTSA to win.
I am going to go for UTSA as well.
I'm going to shout out my friend Michael. He doesn't really watch football, but I told him about UTEP, and now he's a UTEP fan until they win.
Was he goes for underdog as well?
He's just going for the winless team. I don't know that he doesn't care either way. Alright, Florida Atlantic Owls take on the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders. Florida Atlantic, they lost to UCF last week, but their offense looked good. Devin Singletary, the running back for Florida Atlantic, ran for well over 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. Middle Tennessee has one of the better offenses in the country, one of the better group of 5 quarterbacks, and Brent Stockstill. This could go back and forth, but I'm going to go with Florida Atlantic.
I'm going to go with Florida Atlantic as well.
All right, Boise State Broncos and Wyoming Cowboys. The past couple of years, Wyoming sort of they played Boise State tough, but Boise State, even though they lost a couple of weeks ago, their quarterback Brett Ripien, he's really good. Wyoming hasn't shown really much of anything this year, especially offensively, that says they can keep up with Boise State. So I'm gonna go with Boise State.
I will go for Boise State as well.
The Hawaii Rainbow Warriors taking on the San Jose State Spartans. Hawaii last night they played one double team Duquesne. They won 42-21. The quarterback for Hawaii, who I keep touting out, Cole McDonald, he on the first drive he did throw an interception, which was the first interception he's thrown this season. But then he threw 5 touchdown passes later. He's looked great. The San Jose State Spartans, they haven't really Hawaii. Cole McDonald could have 5 touchdown passes again in the first half. So Hawaii, I think, wins this one.
All right, I'm going to go for Hawaii as well.
Charlotte 49ers and UAB Blazers. Charlotte has shown some stuff the last few weeks, especially offensively with their freshman quarterback Chris Reynolds. UAB, they have a running back Spencer Brown. He's one of the better running backs in his CUSA. This could be an interesting one, but I'm going to go with UAB to win this one. I think they have the better overall team.
I'll go for UAB.
All right, one of the games of the day, Ohio State Buckeyes at Penn State Nittany Lions. Both teams are in the top 10. This could go a long way towards determining who will win the Big Ten East Division, who maybe makes the playoffs later, even for the Heisman, because Ohio State, their quarterback Dwayne Haskins, he's been amazing so far. Trace McSorley, the quarterback for Penn State, he's been done really well. Whichever quarterback comes out with the victory in this will probably take maybe a lead in the Heisman race, or at least put himself way up there. Penn State has a good running back in Miles Sanders. Ohio State has 2 good running backs in Mike Weber and J.K. Dobbins. So it's a night game in Penn State. They'll have their white out, which means the whole stand dresses in white, and everybody looks white. So this is kind of tough, but I'm going to go with Ohio State to win this one. I think.
Even though they'll be in enemy territory?
They will be. Dwayne Haskins has played so well. The quarterback for Ohio State, I think overall their team.
So if Ohio,
it's just slightly. It'll be a good game. It'll definitely be one of the games of the year, in my opinion. I don't see either team blowing the other team out in this one.
All right, I'll go for Ohio State as well.
All right, next game, Stanford Cardinal and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Stanford, they came off of a really big victory against Oregon. They came from behind to win in overtime. Notre Dame, the first few weeks, I've said they've not looked very good. Then finally last week, they started a new quarterback, and he looked good against Wake Forest. Maybe that's their key. Both teams are also in the top 10 in this game. This is another coin flip. After seeing what Oregon did offensively against Stanford, which is normally a stout defense, I think Notre Dame will win this one.
I'm going to go for Stanford.
All right, South Carolina Gamecocks and the Kentucky Wildcats. This will be interesting. Kentucky's coming off of a big upset win. They're 4-0. Their running back Benny Snell ran for 165 yards and 4 touchdowns. South Carolina, they have a good quarterback, Jake Bentley. This will be an even game. I'm going to give the slight edge to South Carolina.
I will go for Kentucky.
Arkansas Pine Bluff, Winnebla, Florida International, Golden Panthers. I'm going to go with Florida International.
I will go for FIU as well.
Louisiana Tech Bulldogs and North Texas Mean Green. This could be a really interesting game to watch. It should be a shootout. Louisiana Tech, they did lose to LSU, but their quarterback Jamar Smith passed for 350 and 3 touchdowns. They were down 24-0, came back to 24-21. They ended up losing, but they have a good team, a good offense. North Texas has a really good offense as well. Their quarterback Mason Fine. This very well could go back and forth. I'm struggling. My head is saying Louisiana Tech, but no, I'm gonna go Louisiana Tech.
So it's a coin flip.
Yeah.
All right, then I will go for North Texas.
All right. The Marshall Thundering Herd taking on Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. I think Marshall will win. Marshall's looked pretty good this year overall. I think Marshall wins it.
All right, I'll go for Marshall.
Ole Miss Rebels and LSU Tigers. If Ole Miss wins, it will be an upset, but Ole Miss could win. LSU has looked good, but Ole Miss, their offense has the potential. I almost want to go for the upset here. It's in LSU. It's a night game in Baton Rouge, which is really hard to play in.
Wow.
It always is. LSU's always they're a top 10 team, and at night in Baton Rouge with the crowd, the way they get in a frenzy. I really want to go with the upset here. You know what? I'm gonna go. Ole Miss wins.
I'm gonna go for Ole Miss as well.
All right, USC Trojans and Arizona Wildcats. USC, their freshman quarterback JT Daniel, he played well against Washington State last week. Maybe that's the catalyst for him to do well. Arizona, Khalil Tate, they beat Oregon State last weekend. He looked okay, but it was more so their running game. They had a running back run for 284 yards and another running back run for 113 yards. USC will have their handful again. That this Arizona's offense is potential, but I'm gonna go with USC to win.
I'm gonna go for USC as well.
All right, the last game, and actually could be a really, really good game. Toledo Rockets, one of the best teams in the MAC, take on the Fresno State Bulldogs, one of the best teams in the Mountain West. Both are pretty good on offense. Toledo put up 63 the other day. I'm going to go with Fresno State, though. I think their defense might just be good enough to kind of slow down Toledo, but this one very well could go either way.
I'm going to go for Toledo.
All right, so that's our picks for the college football week for week 5. Go to our channel, check out, I'm going to review last week's games. I'm going to break down these games in a preview this week as well. Go see our NFL picks that we'll have up later. We just actually started a Facebook page, so if you want to go to the Facebook group, Fan of Football 813, we'll put it up somewhere and we'll put a link in the descriptions. If you guys want to make comments, if you have any questions about your teams, I'll be glad to answer them as best I can and talk about them. Go to our Twitter, share, like, subscribe, all this. Well, till next week. Peace.